Hello, my name is Kathy, and today I'll be discussing the qualities of the second water sign, Scorpio. The zodiacal sign of Scorpio is probably the most misunderstood of all the signs. It is an extremely complex zodiacal sign that's associated with mystery, sex, power, and intrigue. Scorpios are intensely private, strongly secretive, and very suspicious people. Scorpio practices the poker face and will not allow people to get too close too quickly. Scorpios are not usually fond of large crowds of people. They prefer more one-on-one situations where a greater depth of connection can occur. These are not superficial people. They are incredibly deep and have penetrating powers of perception, so much so that it often seems to be psychic. Scorpios are intense people that see and feel far more than the average person does, and their feelings are always complicated. Because of this intense depth, Scorpio finds that to develop control and a game plan that will help them get to where they want to go in life. Power and control are the key factors of the Scorpio personality. These qualities present themselves as the experience of self-mastery. For a Scorpio, to lose control is an awful experience. Even worse than losing control of the Scorpio is the experience of being under somebody else's control. The intense mood swings, depressions, obsessions, compulsions, fears, anxieties, anger, rage, and bouts of deep inner loneliness of the Scorpio personality are the stuff of hell. It is these very experiences that takes the Scorpio through the depths of intense emotional experience and intense pain that ultimately transforms them at the core of their being. There is nothing superficial about Scorpio. Something within the psyche of the Scorpio must die in order to make way for an ultimate rebirth. When this moment occurs, when the Scorpio hits rock bottom and surrenders its iron control to the unknown, to fate, to God, it becomes a moment that defies both courage and control. Old ways of being and the related securities associated with them, the expectations and needs are then annihilated, and the new life is born. A life that is very different from what was. No other sign has the intense power of self-renewal and self-mastery that the Scorpio has. You can find hardened criminals that transform themselves into ministers, hardcore drug addicts turned into substance abuse counselors, terminally ill patients that heal themselves and then become healers of others. All of this is possible with Scorpio. But before these transformations can occur, there is the surrendering of the control dramas of their lives. This happens because absolutely nothing else can be done. This is the point of complete surrender to God's will and the complete sacrificing of the past. New life comes from the death of the old. Before these intense transformations occur in the life of the Scorpio, you will find that power becomes the central focus of these people. In the mundane world, this can be power in business and sexual power over others. It is a manipulative psychology. Power and control for the untransformed Scorpio individual is terribly important because it implies intellectual possibilities. It is ego power in its most elemental form, and that is why the Scorpio needs to control so much. Beneath all of the maneuvers, manipulations, and power plays of the Scorpio person, you will find the most vulnerable of all the zodiacal signs. This is a secret. This is the reason for it all. They feel so much, so deeply, and so intently that their desires end up defining their sense of self and self-esteem. Scorpios tend to be all or nothing types. They are stubborn and filled with the intense need to control their environments. Ultimately, this cuts themselves off from other people. Scorpio deeply desires and needs to connect with others, so you can see the problems here. Appearances are very deceiving when it comes to this sign. Scorpio usually always seems to be cool, calm, and collected, when in actual fact they're seething volcanoes of intense emotions. Scorpio has 3 animal symbols associated with it: the scorpion, the serpent, and the phoenix firebird. The scorpion stings others and then, trapped, will sting itself to death. The second, the serpent, has to do with wisdom, change, death, and transformation. This stage of development is the beginning of being able to see beyond the self and beyond the needs of the small ego mind. The phoenix firebird level of the Scorpio emotional desires become transpersonal. In this state of being, a wisdom is born as the result of all of the deep emotional changes that are occurring. Here, for the first time, is a quiet, joyous inner freedom. There is an elevated level of consciousness that is powerfully connected to the Creator, and so all the old inner turmoil is gone. Here, the Scorpio individual understands that the bumps of life still happen, but now there's meaning to it all, and a great sense of possibilities. When this occurs, this personal power, the mind can truly create miracles in the mundane circumstances of life. The Scorpio that has gone through the transformative experience no longer has to be anything because of ego needs. They are then free to be totally themselves. There is limitless potential in this and true power. The Scorpio that has gone through their personal ordeal of fire emerges truly authentic, wise, at peace within, and is capable of connecting deeply with others. Great emotional crises lead to self-mastery. No other zodiacal sign has greater potential for the positive conversion of power than Scorpio. The essence of Scorpio is a battleground between the forces of light and darkness playing themselves out on many different levels. Negative Scorpios tend to try to control their feelings in the form of deadening them completely. There is a strong sense of denial of feelings in general in order to exhibit a cool and calm external demeanor. This then allows them to do calculated power plays and mental manipulations of circumstances and others. The negative Scorpio is not a happy camper. There's a lifelessness about them that is strongly tinged with a powerful internal darkness that swells up from the depths in the form of powerful mood swings. These intense mood swings are very difficult to live with and can paralyze the Scorpio with draining obsessions and a tormented mind that just can't let go. Scorpio has trouble with anger because it gets so complicated. So many Scorpios will simply get depressed instead, rather than deal with it. Scorpios tend to hold anger in, to brood, obsess, dwell, and relive the past over and over again. They bear grudges and bitterly cling to injustices, and without a word of warning, are fully capable of cutting a person out of their lives forever. When Scorpio does manage to express anger, it will be indirect. You will get the vicious, sarcastic comment here, or a meticulously timed story there that cuts like a knife through your heart. Scorpio will watch and wait for the perfect moment to strike, even if it takes 30 years. Even though they appear cool, calm, and collected on the outside, the truth of the matter is that they are a seething mass of intense emotions that have long been festering and feeding upon themselves. Scorpio is truly the most amazing of all signs. When intensely focused, the Scorpio can accomplish absolutely anything. They are an invincible force that will succeed against all odds. Scorpios have the capacity to completely reinvent themselves. They are the zodiacal sign of extremes, from great suffering to the most deeply felt joys of life, from death to resurrection. Scorpios are surrounded by deaths. Deaths of actual people, deaths of relationship, deaths of businesses, goals, achievements, and so on. The ultimate result is a deep inner sense of devastation, which they usually self-contain, which very often leads to a deep depression that is truly deadening. It is from these profound experiences that a new strength is born, usually through a combination of willful assertions and enhanced insights. When the absolute pit of despair is reached, a powerful psychological energy is released and a rebirth takes place. The statement, "That which does not kill us, strengthens us," could be the Scorpio motto. Enlightened Scorpios know the emotional growth comes hand in hand with intense suffering. From living through their deepest fears, Scorpio becomes freed from them, and in the process have come to experience a true spiritual power within themselves. With this intense emotional growth comes less and less need for defense mechanisms. With this great emotional growth comes psychological freedom, an inner lightness, and greater insight into the meaning of life. Well, that's it for now. To stay up to date with my latest videos, make sure to subscribe to this free YouTube channel by clicking the red subscribe button right below this video. Take care.